Executive Director Metruck, I know we have not been together for some time, and so I look forward to your report here. That's my warning that I know it's longer than normal, and that's just fine.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Yes, it has been a while since we last met, and a lot has happened. So I'd like to report on a few of the happenings that I believe that you'll be interested in. I want to begin today by also calling to mind, as you did, Madam President, the September 11th, 2001, and in particular, the events of that day, but in particular, I want to talk about the involvement of the first responders. First responders did not hesitate as they rushed to help evacuate thousands of people, and ultimately 343 firefighters, 23 city police officers, and 37 New York Police Authority police officers, and those perished in addition to some 3,000 occupants of the World Trade Center. First responders continued searching for survivors for many days and many nights afterwards. Every year since then, including this morning, your own police and fire teams have held a memorial service to remember those innocents that died and those first responders that gave the ultimate sacrifice. Port staff, along with uniformed partners from TSA, CBP, CDC, the Air Marshals, and at times commissioners and others over the years have attended this remembrance. I want to share a photo, one photo from last year's garage stair climb after the memorial, which is something that, fortunately for me, took place. I had to come here for this, so I could not take place with this, which would have been nice. So next year I may be able to work that out, which is the climbing the 8 flights of the parking garage and then doing that 14 more times to commemorate in honor of those that made the climb to assist others. Police, fire, and others join in this climb this morning. And hopefully next year, maybe some of us can participate as well. The ceremony is also a solemn reminder that we must remain vigilant and prepared for whatever threat or hazard that our first responders at the port, together with our partners, may face. This is an obligation that we willingly undertake here at the port. Being prepared for security events, on Monday, July 30th, we experienced a different form of emergency. That was a deep-line water break under the North Airport Expressway. This break threatened our airport drives, the rental car facility, and our garage. We had to shut off water service to several facilities and reduce traffic on the roadway from 4 lanes down to 2 lanes. The challenges of this project included excavating down 20 feet, finding parts for a 50-year-old 16-inch water main, which took a while, a few days just to find that. And of course, keeping our facilities open with as little disruption as possible for travelers and business partners. Within 24 hours, we had executed a contract with the construction firm Scarcella Brothers. Within about 2 weeks, water service was restored and the roadway fully reopened. I want to thank the employees of Scarcella Brothers for their efficient and quick work, and their many port employees who contributed to this effort. And on the screen are the names of those who played key roles. The second emergency that we faced at the airport since we last met was the unauthorized flight departure from SeaTac on August 10th. Later in the meeting, as part of the agenda, item 7A, you'll be hearing more about this incident and the steps ahead from Aviation Managing Director Lance Little and his team. But the initial response that evening was an all-hands-on-deck event involving many employees from the port, public agencies, and our partner airlines. Provided are the names of a few of the people who responded, and once the incident was over, worked until operations were restored. In a different vein of work at the port, it's exciting when the community recognizes our employees for extraordinary contributions. I want to share 3 recent examples. First, our own George Blumberg, Senior Environmental Planning Manager, was the recipient of a newly created award for government employees who have gone above and beyond the call of duty to clean up and restore the Duwamish River. The Duwamish River Cleanup Coalition honored George for his decades of work stewarding the Duwamish and tirelessly working with the community. George is often seen out in the field on weekends on his own time, attending restoration sites, and I see him when I'm in the building here on the weekends doing the paperwork.
You know, to say that above and beyond the call of duty, it's way beyond.
George, please stand up. In recognition of George's extensive contributions, the award will be called the Bloomberg Cargill Award after George and Dan Cargill of the Washington State Department of Ecology. That's quite an honor, George. George is a past and dedicated citizen and employee and a great representative of the port. We're lucky to have him with us. Our second employee to be recognized is Elizabeth Levitt. Elizabeth, are you here? Our Senior Director of the Environment and Sustainability Center of Expertise, she recently received the Women in Aviation Industry Leader Award from the Airport Minority Advisory Council. Biz received her award at AMAC's annual Airport Diversity Conference held last month in Seattle. Biz was recognized for being a role model in the community service, monitoring of airport staff, and for being a leading voice in sustainable development of airports. Congratulations, Biz. And the third honor was for CTAC Managing Director Lance Little. Lance? I know you're here, Lance. Lance, who along with the port was recognized by AMAC with the Catalyst Award given annually to honor members who have made outstanding contributions to further the goals of AMAC. Lance and the port were recognized for the visible progress in the inclusion of more women and minorities in the CTAC Dining and Retail Program and for the effective relations developed with the ACDBE tenants at the airport. Commissioners, you have strongly supported this effort for our Dining and Retail Program, and we thank you for that. Speaking of AMAC, and attendees are calling the Port co-sponsored conference one of the most, if not the most, successful and inspiring conference in AMAC's 34 years. It was a sellout with more than 1,000 people attending. And also, one of the big programs was over 100 youth who participated in a career day event at Riseback High School in the Museum of Flight, where they met leaders in aviation and aerospace. Business owners from our region and across the nation were able to network with airport officials and gain insight into contracting with airports. And related to that, I want to highlight our staff's recent work regarding our diversity and contracting policy. Staff organized a very successful session at the AMAC conference where prime contractors could meet with business owners to discuss partnership opportunities, as seen as the photo you see here before you. We recently held our largest Port Gen training session ever, where 62 attendees learned about business opportunities across the port.
I'm glad you titled that so it doesn't look like a speed dating photo.
And just last Friday, we held an outreach session with contractors and women and minority business owners to highlight the port's diversity and contracting policy. There, 43 representatives and business owners attended. Lastly, Commissioners, Senator Maria Cantwell and Congressman Adam Smith worked effectively to secure a needed legislative change which will enable the port to continue noise mitigation projects at schools in the Highline School District in Burien. I'm pleased to report that this legislation was signed into law on August 13th, and we look forward to continuing our collaboration with the Highline School District.
Excellent.
And it was great to see that began with a visit to Washington. So, and Commissioners, that concludes my report.
Sorry, go ahead, Commissioner Hood.
Thank you for the update, Executive Metruck. As a New Yorker from the start, I find September 11th to be a particularly poignant day for me. And one thing that we are very, happy, and we should all be feel secure in that our executive is particularly attuned to incident command related issues, and that one of the things that were not mentioned, though, is the significance of the maritime industry in that recovery as part of the various men and women who provided that. And the ferry service and the tugboat operators were shuttling people all over the place. And the importance of the port as a resilient structure to respond to these things is something that I know is very much in your mind, and something that the public should understand how essential an asset like this is for recovery.
Commissioner, I can go on for another 15, 20 minutes about that if you would like, but in this.
Thanks,
But thank you.
Commissioner. Thanks, Executive Director Metruck.